Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another session with me. My name is Emilio Jose Garcia, and today I'm going to be talking about the teachings of Joe Dispenza, Dr. Joe Dispenza. They are fascinating, and I am so excited to share some of the basics with you. Before we get started, I would like to gift you with a little bit of a few seconds of time, a few seconds of presence for you to land into the session. Okay, so just enjoy the sound of the singing bowl and do whatever you need to do to feel comfortable, to become more present, to let go of whatever you were doing before. It's gonna be there when you finish this session, so don't worry, it's not gonna go away. Just allow yourself a little bit of time to transition into this session today. Okay. Thank you so much, guys, for allowing yourself a little bit of time to just connect and be present and ease into this session. So, before I get started, I would like to know, and I'm curious, how many people know who Dr. Joe Dispenza is? Just want to make sure that I understand how many know and how many don't know. It doesn't matter if you do or don't. This is a very simple and basic session. I'm gonna try to do my best to explain. Yes, absolutely love Dr. Joe. Yes, read some books. I saw one TED Talk. Yes, amazing. So majority of you know him, and he's very renowned. He's very, very famous, and he's done a lot of work. Laura says no. Well, today you're gonna meet him, Laura. Just a little. Yes, I read one book. No, amazing. So it's nice to have some no's and some maybes, some a little bit. Done 2 of his courses and meditations. Amazing. Beautiful. So Dr. Joe Dispenza has been doing a lot of work around meditation, around quantum physics, neuroscience, neuroplasticity, and he does a really, really good job of mixing the mystical with the science. What he's doing is he's measuring a lot of scientific data about people who go to his events. He runs live events and online events, and he just has thousands of people participating. So they measure those participants, some of them, and they are collecting a lot of data, and they are discovering a lot of amazing things that are being proved scientifically too. And this is one of the things that I like, that it really mixes both worlds. It's not really mystical over there, and it's not really scientific over there. It's a very nice mix. It's very he does a good job of explaining things simply so that people can understand them and people can take action on them. And he also does a good job of creating a system, a process that you can follow with specific meditations and why you are doing them, what is the objective of doing them, and etc. Okay, so basically he talks about the importance of getting rid of our familiar mind. Okay, so he says that every day we have 60 to 70,000 thoughts every single day. Okay, 60 to 70,000 thoughts. And he talks that majority of the times we are in the familiar past or in the predictable future. Okay, that's where we are normally at. And then he says that there is also the generous present moment. And that's where we need to connect more with. We want to be in the generous present moment. Because anytime we are in the familiar past or in the predictable future, we are thinking and behaving the same way that we have in the past. And we are going to create more of the same. Okay? So if you want to overcome something, if you want to bring awareness into something so that you can change, it doesn't work if you are in the familiar past or if you are in the predictable future, and if you are taking actions based on the same mind that you had before. So how can you connect with the present moment, with the generous present moment? But this is where mindfulness comes in. This is where meditation comes in. This is where being present, this is where paying attention, using your metacognition to reflect. When we connect with the generous present moment, a few things happen, okay? The first thing is that you are bringing awareness and you are noticing how you think, okay? You are noticing the patterns. You are noticing the beliefs. You are noticing the automatic things that happen in your life without you thinking about them. And this is what we want. Instead of us being on autopilot all day long and not paying attention, we want to come to this present moment and we want to shine the light on the things that we do, how we do them, and become aware of them so that we can then create something different. But we can only do that in the present moment. Okay, where your attention goes, energy flows. And if we spend majority of our days in the familiar past or in the predictable future, something that we understand, something that we can predict, Joe says that you are not creating anything new and that you are going to get more of the same. So how do you connect with the present moment? And he puts in here that when you are in the present moment, the generous present moment, and you are pure consciousness, you can connect with the quantum field, with the unified field. That's how he calls it. And this is basically the present moment that allows you to connect with anything that you want. And then with that mindset, with that new mind that you are creating, you are visualizing what you want in your life. And when you can see that in your brain and you can rehearse what you want to see, what you want to experience, you are showing your brain new ways of being. You are showing your brain new ways of behaving. Okay? And that's when you start creating something new. That's when the magic happens. Okay? So he says that in order for you to connect with the generous present moment, with that unified field, you have to become no one. You have to disconnect with everything that is familiar. So you have to disconnect from your body. You have to disconnect from what you are doing, the places you have to go, the things you have to do, and just be present. Okay? You need to let go of everything for that period of time that you are doing that practice so that you can just be present. Okay? So that's what he explains. And then he talks about the programmings that we all have. The programmings that our mind follows on autopilot. Anytime we are not paying attention, he says that our mind is following our body, meaning that all the routines that we have repeated for like 1,000 times and they just happened, they just keep happening on autopilot without us thinking about them. And when we are there, we are just creating the same thing over and over and over. We are having the same thoughts, we are behaving the same way, and we are not changing anything. That's why it's so important to start creating something new. Okay? Something really, really important that he talks about also is the difference between living in survival and living in creation. Living in survival means that your sympathetic nervous system is activated. You are on a fight or flight mode. You are tense. You are stressed. You are in danger. So when you are in that state, you are living in on survival mode, on crisis mode, and that's not a good time for you to create anything. That's not a good time for you to think about how you think, to reflect, to meditate, because you are tense. You need to protect yourself. But that connecting with that these days is very normal. We are stressed, we are reacting to what's happening to us. A majority of the times, we stay on that crisis and survival mode for a really long time because we are not regulating properly. We are letting the external environment affect how we feel, how we react, and we never get to connect with that creating mind. Instead of us being always on survival, we cannot connect with our power to create something different. So the sympathetic nervous system gets activated when we sense that we are in danger, when we feel stress, when we feel anxiety, when we feel any of these emotions that are telling us that things are not okay and we need to do something. We have to protect ourselves, we have to run, we have to do something. The parasympathetic nervous system is when we feel calm. That's when we restore our body, we can energize ourselves, and that's when the body understands, okay, now it's time to heal, now it's time to repair, now it's time to relax, now it's time because there is no danger, we are safe. So when you are in the generous present moment, you want to connect with that, you want to activate the parasympathetic nervous system. You want to stop being on the sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight, that you are always tense, and you want to relax. And you can do that by breathing, you can do that by meditating, by quieting your environment, by playing music, by going for a walk in nature, by doing any self-care activity, any mindfulness activity that helps you to self-regulate and helps you slow down. Okay, so when you can connect with that relaxation, you are telling your body and your system, hey, everything is okay out there, there is no danger, we don't have to run, we don't have to fight. Now it's our time to create, now it's our time to reflect, now it's our time to heal, to restore, to do other things. So this is the difference between living in survival or living in creation. And that's why mindfulness is so important. And that's why these practices are going to help you connect with that present moment. Okay? Because what happens when you are stressed about something that happened? What happens when you are anxious about something that you are predicting is going to happen? And normally our minds tend to go to the worst case scenario. But what happens when you find yourself there? Anytime I find myself expecting something really bad happening to me and dramatizing the situation, I connect, I start feeling nervous, I start feeling anxious, I start feeling like I have to do something. So when I am in that state, I am not in a good state to create anything. I am running my programs, I am defending myself, and I am living in my predictable future or in my familiar past. And I am just repeating and repeating the same thing over and over. Do you guys agree with that? What happens when you allow yourself the time to connect with the present moment, to disconnect from what happened in the past, disconnect with what's going to happen in the future that your mind is predicting because it cannot be true? What happens when you just let go of all those things just for a little bit of time and you just stay present and you just start reflecting about, wow, I am always stressed about that situation. So when that situation shows up again, I am going to try to do something different. This is when you start analyzing your thoughts, you start using your metacognition to reflect, and then you are strategizing new possibilities. You are creating. This is what creating means, guys. You are thinking about something that is repeating, that you don't like, or is no longer serving you, and you are going to take different action. You are going to start doing something different. When that experience repeats itself, you are going to be more aware, you are going to be more present, and you are going to test something different. So instead of repeating the same thoughts, the same beliefs, the same actions that you did in the past, you are creating something different. And when you create something different, you behave differently, you say different things, and you react differently to what's happening. That is your opportunity for you to start creating something different in your life. That's what Joe calls being in creation, living in creation. Because what you think, what you believe, has a huge impact in your reality, because it's going to affect how you feel right now. It's going to affect if you're going to be able to connect with the present moment or not. It's going to allow you to calm your body. It's going to allow you to reflect about the things that you want to change, brainstorm different strategies, different ideas to try in the future. And then this is where it gets really cool. And this is something that it is proven scientifically. When you visualize something in your brain, in your mind, and you start rehearsing a new behavior that you want to do, Joe says that the mind doesn't know the difference between you doing it in reality or you doing it in your mind. So your mind doesn't know the difference between you doing it in real life or you visualizing that experience or that activity in your mind. So this has been proven with people playing the piano. They had a group of people sitting in front of the piano and playing the keys, and they had a group of people just visualizing a piano and visualizing them playing the chords, playing scales, playing a song or whatever. And after a week or 2 weeks, they recognize that the people who didn't sit in front of the piano, they just visualized it, they actually made a lot of progress. So that's a reality. Athletes have done this. And then anytime that you want to create something new in your life, just think about it. If you want to become more abundant, if you want to become more funny, if you want to become more whatever it is that you want to become, if you start rehearsing that in your brain and you start visualizing yourself being that, behaving that way, feeling that way, somehow you are conditioning, you are telling your brain, hey, this is a new possibility. And you are creating a new circuitry in your brain to make that a reality. Now the brain is going to recognize, oh, that's an option that I have available. That's something that I can do. I have been training for this. This is not weird. It's not dangerous. It's something that feels familiar. I am familiar to this. And now you start creating a new neuropath in your brain and start doing something different. Guys, how cool is that? That's called neuroplasticity, right? And he says that we have the ability to start creating new pathways in our brain to do things differently. But that requires awareness. That requires us having a clear intention. And that requires us showing up and connecting with the present moment, reflecting about what we want to change, okay? And then visualizing what we want instead. And then start telling our brain, I want this. So how cool is that, guys? How cool is that you have the ability to think about the things that you want to change. You have the ability to visualize those things in your brain. Okay, you visualize yourself being the person you want to become, doing what you want to be doing, and then you start feeling that emotion. And then you, by just doing that, you start creating pathways in your brain, connecting neuropaths and doing whatever needs to happen in your brain to start making that a reality. Okay, how cool is that? Who wants that in their lives? I want that in my life every day. I will take as much as I can of that. So this mix of things that he shares about the becoming aware of the generous present moment, and then disconnecting from the familiar past, from the predictable future, okay, and then try to connect with that present moment every day for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 1 hour, however much time you can. And again, start making progress in a way that feels doable to you. Don't set yourself up for, I'm going to start meditating 1 hour a day if you have never done it before. So start with something that is doable. Right now, myself, I am doing 20 minutes every day. That's my target. Every day, I need to meditate for at least 20 minutes. And if I don't do it before going to bed, I will do it. I force myself to do it. Sometimes, guys, I don't want to. I have to force myself, and this is something cool. Okay, this is something that you have to do. You are getting out of your familiarity. You are getting out of what you normally do, and you start taking control. You start saying, no, Emilio, you are not going to get a coffee now. You are not going to do this. You are going to sit down for 20 minutes and you are going to stay quiet and you're going to meditate. And sometimes I notice I don't want to do it. My body wants to move. My brain wants to go. I want to think about the things I have to do. And I have to bring myself back and say, no, I am in control. And that's when you are being present. That's when you are breaking all the patterns that you have created, all the beliefs that you have, and you start creating something new. But it takes you the clarity, it takes you the consistency, and it takes your intention to actually make this a reality and practice it every single day. So I want to share 2 quotes with you guys, and then I'm going to go to the comments, okay? So the first quote that I want to share is from Albert Einstein. And he says, we cannot solve our problems with the same thinking that we used when we created them. Okay? So we cannot solve our problems with the same thinking that we used when we created them. So this is a clear example of you cannot change using the same belief systems, the same patterns, and the same thinking and the same thoughts that you have been using until now. Because if not, you will have changed already, wouldn't you? And the other quote that is really powerful too is from Henry Ford. Henry Ford. And he says, whether you think you can or you think you cannot, you are right. How is that cool? Sometimes this happens with a lot of people that I talk to. They are asking for help or they are sharing something, and then they are so close-minded that at the end I say, yeah, you are right. If they say I can do it, I say, you are right. And if they say I cannot do this, yeah, you are right. And if I sense that they are not open to receiving and they don't want to listen and they're just doing their own thing, yeah, you are right. And I do that a lot of times. And then Samantha comes after sometimes and say, are you open now? I say, yeah, I know, I'm open now. I wasn't before. So I was right. I couldn't do it before, but I could do it because if I believe I can, I will do it. But if I believe I cannot, then I won't even try. So just keep in mind that quote because it's really helpful. Okay, let me see some of the comments that you guys have. How to stop overthinking. How to stop overthinking. Himanshu, how to stop overthinking? It takes practice. You need to practice by inviting yourself or forcing yourself every day to sit down and stop thinking. And that takes a little bit of practice. The first time that you try, you most likely won't be able to, but you are starting to create change. Okay? And that's what we need. We need to get started with steps that feel doable to you, steps that you can actually take action on. If that for you means to do it 5 minutes, then just do it 5 minutes. Okay? And if you can do it longer, then do it longer. But get started and be consistent every day. Dr. Joe has guided meditations you can buy. You need to start with Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself book and the meditations that go with it. Yeah, amazing, Hilary. There is a lot of content out there that you can explore. You can buy meditations from his website. You can go to YouTube and find lots of stuff in there too. So there are books, there are lots of stuff. Okay? Lisa, 20 minutes with music or silence? Lisa, it depends. Sometimes I feel like having music, sometimes it's silence. I'm just creating the habit right now. Sometimes I have a hard time stopping my mind. Sometimes I can stop it really quickly because I'm quiet. So it depends on how the day is going. It depends on how much stuff is going on. I notice that sometimes it's easier to do it than others, but I still force myself to sit down for 20 minutes, and I put my timer, and I have to do at least 20 minutes a day. That's a non-negotiable deal that I have with myself. So even if I haven't done it and it's 11 p.m. at night time, I will sit on my couch, or I will sit on a chair, or I will do whatever, and I will sit for 20 minutes. Even if my mind is all over the place, I will still sit down for 20 minutes. Because what's happening here, guys, is that my past behaviors are just kicking in. I am doing what I normally do because that's my automatic pilot. That's what I have always done. Now I am bringing presence, and I am being present, and I'm saying, no, I want to do something different. I want to create this new habit. And sometimes it feels weird and I don't want to do it, but I want to create this in my life. So I have to force myself to do it until my brain knows that I am in charge. I am not following patterns. I am not following automatic programming. I'm not reacting to things. I am being present and deciding with intention what I want to be doing. And this is what you guys have to start doing in whatever way feels good to you, and whatever the amount of time that you can do. Okay? For some, that may be 1 minute. For some, 5 minutes. For some, 20 minutes. For some, 1 hour. For some, twice a week, 3 hours. For some, it doesn't matter how you do it as long as you are consistent. And I would recommend to do it daily. Whatever you choose, try to do it daily. Even if it's a minute. Guys, who doesn't have 1 minute to set the intention and to say, I am going to honor my mental health, I am going to honor my brain, I am going to show up for myself because I really want to create change in my life. And I am going to start taking action, whatever is accessible to me right now. If it's a minute, I will take it. Once you start doing a minute every day, how easy it's going to be for you to do 2 minutes, and then 3 minutes, and then 5 minutes. And then you start building the habit, and then you start noticing your thoughts, noticing how you feel, and then you start noticing different things that you can do in your practice, in your meditations. You can start visualizing something you want to see in your life. You can use your time meditating to reflect about something that you didn't like and brainstorm new possibilities that you can do in the future. You can visualize yourself in that situation behaving differently, saying something different, doing something different. You can just try to be in silence. You can listen to some music that relaxes you. You can listen to a story that takes you to a forest and it's mystical and it takes you out of your head. Whatever you do, we are trying to connect with the generous present moment. And we are trying to let go of the past, the future, expectations, feelings that we had, stress, anxiety, blah, blah, blah. We are trying to just be here. Okay, that's what we are trying to do. So, Emilio, are you meditating on the clear intention that you just had, or on what Dr. Joe is telling you? So, Amy, it's what I was saying. I may have different intentions for my meditations depending on what I feel like. Right now, majority of the times, the only thing that I'm trying to do is to just be blank, disconnect from everything. So this is how it looks like. I try to sit down in a position that feels comfortable. Sometimes I sit on my couch. Sometimes I sit on a chair because my legs fall asleep very quickly if I sit cross-legged on the floor. So I just sit, try to keep my spine erect, like straight. And then I put my hands on my lap, and then I close my eyes and I try to just be still. And I try to stop thinking. And then I notice my mind going to the past, going to the future. And okay, come back. And then I know that I have succeeded when I am quiet, when I am noticing my breath, and when I don't feel my body. I have to go back to my right hand and move it a little bit because I don't know where it is. It's like, what are my hands? And I have to actually move them a little bit to notice them again because they kind of disappeared. I don't know where they are. So that's when I notice that I am disconnecting from my body. I am very relaxed, and that's what I'm working on right now. That's it. Sometimes I feel inspired. A lot of stuff comes when I am normally going for walks or doing something inspiring, maybe a more active meditation for me. And sometimes I feel inspired to visualize something. I feel inspired to think about something I want to attract into my life, and then I try to visualize that thing. I try to feel the way I will feel when I am there, and I try to really be there. And then that's conditioning my mind to become familiar with that new feeling, new experience, new emotion. And then when that becomes familiar to my mind, when I can recognize that outside, it's going to be more clear to me that, okay, that's what I want. And it's going to be easier to attract that thing because I am becoming that thing. And I am rehearsing that in my brain. So that's something that I do. I just visualize what I would like to see in my life, how I would like to behave. Another thing that I do, I will use my meditation to go back to triggers I had, to experiences I didn't like. And I use that time to reflect. I use that time to really dive deeper into why did I behave that way? Why did I react that way? What's underneath that? I try to revisit the experience and I try to really visualize it from outside, observe it, notice it, and then try to understand what's underneath that. And then brainstorm new ways. Okay, when that happens again, what can I do differently? That, for example, with my daughter, when she eats and she creates a lot of mess, that triggers me a lot. So I do some work about why does that trigger me? Where is that coming from? And then when that happens again, how am I going to behave differently? What am I going to be doing? What am I going to be telling myself? What is my main priority in that situation? And it's just being more aware and start creating something different. So those are some of the things that I try to do in my practices. Okay, again, I'm only doing 20 minutes a day, so it's not a lot of time. I could be doing more, but I could be doing less too. So I have to be happy and grateful with what I'm doing. I am happy that I'm showing up every day for the past 3 or 4 weeks now, consistently, and I am planning on having this in my life from now on. Every single day I want to do this. And I created 3 reminders in my calendar. In case you are wondering, how do you remind yourself of doing this? Every day, in the morning, midday, and in the evening, I have a reminder that pops up. And it's a sentence that says, Emilio, did you meditate? And then you can write the reasons you want to do it. You can have a cute icon. You can do whatever you need to do to remind yourself. But that's the way that every day I see it 3 times. So it's very difficult for me to miss it, because when I see it 3 times, I am very likely to get it done somewhere along the day. So that's how I make sure that I remind myself of doing that. Okay, let me see what else. Does guided count? Yeah, absolutely. Guided meditations are beautiful too, of course. As long as you... So there are different intentions and different strategies for these practices, guys. But as long as you come to the present moment, as long as you notice that your brain is a little bit more quieter, even if it doesn't go completely quiet, but you are working, you are practicing. If you feel more relaxed, if you feel a little bit happier, if you breathe with more ease, if you pay more attention to the present moment, if you feel gratefulness, if you just had a wonderful 10 or 20 minutes guided meditation and you just feel re-energized, that's already beautiful. Any of those benefits are already beautiful. Most likely, when you are doing any of these practices, you are going to most likely feel more relaxed. You are going to disconnect the sympathetic nervous system, that is fight or flight, and you are going to start connecting with the parasympathetic one, that is the relaxing one, is the healing place. It's the place where things start restoring. You are calm and you have the opportunity to start creating, start reflecting, because you are not tense, you are not anxious, you are not stressed. The more you practice this in whatever way feels good to you, the more you are going to experience connecting with the present moment. The easier it's going to be for you to self-regulate your emotions, self-regulate the way you react to things. This is a metacognition, this is an executive functioning skill that is very important. It's a metacognition is your capacity to reflect and to think how you think. And adaptable thinking, for example, and flexibility is another one. Emotional self-regulation is another one. All these skills control your brain. They control how you feel, how you behave, how you talk, how you act. And the new course that I am creating, that hopefully will be published in the next 3 weeks or 2 weeks, that's what Insight Timer told me, it's going to be talking about all these skills. It's going to be breaking them down in a way that is going to help you notice them, identify them, and start using them more often. But what Joe is trying to do here, try to first, for you to recognize what do you want to change and really have a clear intention. And then for you to give you tools to connect with the present moment and start disconnecting from the past and from the future and from all the automatic programming that already happens without you thinking. And then when you are in the present moment and you are paying attention and you are being aware, that's your opportunity to start doing something different. And that's when you start connecting with the parasympathetic nervous system that will allow you to relax, that will allow your body to calm down, and then that will allow you to then start connecting with your creative side. Now I feel safe. Now I can breathe. Now I don't feel stress, I don't feel anxiety, or if I do, it is contained. And I am practicing to contain that more and more every day. It doesn't matter where you are, guys. If you are feeling 100 on a scale 0 to 100, if you are on 90 feeling anxiety and you can bring it down to 85, that's progress. I celebrate that. Keep going. If you are on 50 and you notice that you are down on 40, that's progress, guys. Don't aim for 0, okay? Don't try to go from 100 anxiety to 0 because that's not gonna work. And you are going to feel like a failure. And you are not failing. You are doing your best and you are taking action, whatever is accessible to you right now. So whatever you can do right now, just start doing it. Be consistent. Okay? So I have been on Insight Timer for 4 years and I have been doing daily meditation since. I had 400 consecutive days. Wow, amazing, Lisa. Then started at 1 again because Insight Timer doesn't count live meditations. So good to discover you. I think you come live when I'm working. Thank you, Lisa. That's amazing. 400 days. That's a lot of time. I celebrate your progress. And yeah, thank you for sharing. Very inspiring. So, yeah, Yin Yoga. Guys, I love Yin Yoga. Maria says, yes, Yin works very well for me. So Yin, I do Yin every week. I go to the gym and we have an amazing instructor there, and then she does hot yoga and hot Yin Yoga. Again, that's a beautiful practice for me because the Yin Yoga combines the flexibility of the body, holding poses, challenging your body, and also challenging your mind. And it's a full hour in a very hot environment. It's just challenging. And I notice my resistance when I'm stretching. I notice my mind going on and trying to quiet it. I'm paying attention to my breath. And then it's just a beautiful practice that allows me to connect with the present moment. So yeah, yoga is another way for you to do it. Like I practice sports too. I juggle my balls. I play guitar. There are so many ways for you to. This is self-care, guys. And I talk about self-care all the time. Creating your own self-care list with activities that help you calm down, help you connect with the present moment. And that's what you have to do. Create your own self-care list. And if you don't know how to do it, listen to one of my recordings about that. If you type self-care on the search, you will find content from me to help you do that, okay? Yeah, so glad I found this live. This has been amazing. Thank you. You are most welcome, Nazanin. Yeah, so guys, these are some of the basics. Dr. Joe covers so much field, guys. It's so inspiring. I have been listening to content for the last 3 weeks and it's amazing. Really good. So I just wanted to share some of it because people requested here last week that I will share from him. And I think it's really timely, right? Like the reminder of connecting with the present moment, the connection between our parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system, the connection with that, with mindfulness, with practices that we have to quiet our mind, and then the connection with that, with the mindfulness aspect of becoming aware of what we want to change, start creating something different in our brain, visualizing different possibilities that we have, start connecting those new neural paths in our brain to be able to create those new realities. And that's going to allow us to start behaving differently, speaking differently, and we're going to start attracting different things to our lives. So it's a beautiful teaching that I am in the process of learning. I am planning on attending one of his live events in Niagara Falls in September. So I am waiting for them to open that up so that I will register there. So if any of you go there, please let me know, because we can meet in person, and I will be honored to meet some of you in person if you go. But yeah, that's some of the things that I wanted to share today. I hope that you guys felt inspired to get started with whatever mindfulness or self-care practice you have. If you don't have any, maybe explore the idea of creating one, even 1 minute a day, guys. Start with something very simple, very doable, and then start increasing. If you already have a practice, maybe revamping your practice, maybe setting different intentions, maybe I don't know, just refresh your practice in a way that allows you to keep showing up for yourself with intention and with motivation. That's the main thing. Keep the motivation up so that you can keep making progress at a pace that feels good to you. Yeah, so Maria says, if any of you have digestive issues, use mindfulness practices and meditation to calm your body down. Yeah, so guys, I would like to finish this session with this reflection, okay? Because I think it's very powerful. So Dr. Joe says that when you are choosing to use your thoughts to focus on stress, to focus on anxiety, to focus on things that are arousing you, and then you are using your sympathetic nervous system to activate the fight or flight, when you are constantly choosing those thoughts and you are putting yourself in that state of like tension, stress, anxiety, and you don't do any practice, you don't do anything to self-regulate, you don't do anything to calm your body down, and you find yourself all day long in that state, that creates disease. Okay? Why does that create disease? Because if you cannot stop the sympathetic nervous system from always protecting you because he feels that you are in danger, okay, you will never connect with the parasympathetic system that is the one in charge of recovering, healing, restoring. So just think about that. If you don't have any sort of practice that allows you to calm down, allows you to regulate, allows you to connect with the present moment and connect with the parasympathetic system so that you feel safe, you feel grateful, you feel relaxed, and you give your body a break, disease may appear. Okay? And this is the universal energy flowing through us. If we don't let that energy flow through us, the energy that creates everything in life, the energy that creates life, the energy that creates babies, the energy that maintains your body functioning. How many of you need to think about, I am going to digest my food, I am going to breathe, I am going to make sure that my organ is working properly? That just happens in the background. So there is an intelligence that regulates all of that. You can call it whatever you want to call it, okay? But that's a universal energy that regulates everything on earth, regulates our bodies. But if you disconnect from that with your thoughts and you put your body in a constant state of tension, stress, anxiety, and you don't let the parasympathetic nervous system to relax and that energy to flow through you and heal you, how likely are you to keep being sick, attracting disease into your life? Because you don't allow your body to let go of that disease. You don't have time to restore anything because you are constantly on fight or flight mode. So just think about that, okay? The way you think, the way you react to your environment, the way you choose how to react is going to make you feel one thing or the other. At the end of the day, you are choosing that. Believe it or not, you are choosing how you react. And if you're always reacting and you're always stressed and you're always in anxiety and you never allow yourself to relax, disease can happen. Okay? That's something that I wanted to mention before I go. So make sure that you have a practice. Make sure that you get started if you don't. Make sure that do whatever makes you feel well, whatever calms you down. There is not a right or wrong answer here. You will know what that is for you. Have an amazing rest of your day, and I will see you on Thursday. Adios.